Letter 13. Plato greets Dionysius, Tyrant of Siracuse. Let the beginning of my letter serve as a sign for you to recognize it as mine. On one occasion when you were hosting a banquet for the young Locrians, and your place at the table was far from mine, you got up, came to my side, and said something very affectionate and witty, which is how it struck both me and my table neighbor. He was a handsome young man. He then said, "Dionysius, Plato has certainly benefited you greatly in the acquisition of wisdom." And you replied, "And in many other things, for from the moment I invited him to come, the mere fact of having invited him was an immediate benefit to me." Well then, you must preserve that spirit so that our mutual benefit continues to grow. Now, working toward this very goal, I am sending you a selection of Pythagorean works in the divisions, and also, as we agreed on one occasion, a man who may be useful to both you and Archytas, if Archytas is with you. His name is Helicon, and he is originally from Cyzicus. He is a student of Eudoxus and is fully instructed in his doctrines. He has also been in contact with a disciple of Isocrates and with Polyxenus, one of Bryson's students. And, what is rare among this sort of person, he is pleasant to deal with and doesn't seem to have a bad temper. Rather, he can be considered a kind and simple man. I am afraid to speak this way because I am offering my opinion on a human, an animal that is not precisely wicked, but is certainly fickle, except for a very small number of them and in very few aspects. It is precisely because of this fear and distrust that I have thoroughly examined him, dealing with him personally. I also made inquiries among his fellow citizens, and no one told me anything negative about him. Nevertheless, you, for your part, observe him and stay on guard. But above all, if you have any free time, receive his teachings and dedicate yourself to philosophical inquiry in all other aspects. Otherwise, have him instruct someone so that when you have time, you can learn and thus improve and gain prestige, ensuring that you continue to receive benefits from me. That is enough on this matter. Regarding the things you commissioned me to send you, I acquired the Apollo, which Leptins is bringing to you. It is the work of a young and skilled artist whose name is Leocaire. There was another very beautiful piece in his workshop, in my opinion. I bought it because I want to give it as a gift to your wife, since she took care of me, both when I was healthy and when I was ill, in a way worthy of both you and me. Please hand it over to her, if you have no objection. I am also sending 12 jars of sweet wine for the children and 2 of honey. As for the figs, I arrived after the storage season, and the myrtle branches had been set aside but went bad. Next time we will be more careful. Regarding the plants, Leptins will tell you what there is. The necessary money, both to cover these expenses and to pay certain taxes to the city, I obtained from Leptins, telling him what seemed most proper to me, besides being true, that the money I used for the Leucadian ship, about 16 minas, was my own property. So, I received this amount, and having it in my possession, I used it on my own account to send you the present shipment. Next, I will inform you of the situation regarding financial matters, both concerning your own funds in Athens and mine. As I told you once, I will use your money exactly like that of the rest of my friends. I spend as little as possible, strictly what seems necessary, fair, and appropriate for both me and the person I receive it from. Now, here is what is happening to me. I am responsible for the daughters of those nieces of mine who died on the occasion when I refused to be crowned, despite your interest in the matter. There are 4 of them, one of whom is now old enough to marry, another is 8 years old, another a little over 3, and the last has not yet turned 1 year old. It is my obligation and that of my friends to provide a dowry for them, at least for those who get the chance while I am alive. I don't need to worry about the others. I am also not obligated to provide dowries for those whose fathers, should the time come, are wealthier than I am, but for now, I am in a better position than they are, and I endowed their mothers with help from Dion, among others. The first is marrying Speusippus, whose sister is her mother. Only 30 minas are needed for her, that is sufficient dowry for us. Furthermore, if my mother dies, an amount not exceeding 10 minas will be needed for the construction of the tomb. And as far as this is concerned, these are more or less my current needs. But should any other expense of a private or public nature arise due to my visit to your court, I must act as I told you before, that is, strive to keep the expense as low as possible, but to the extent that I cannot avoid it, it will be at your expense. Next, I will talk to you about how your money is being used here in Athens. Firstly, if I need to pay the expenses for a chorus or something similar, not a single one of your hosts is willing to provide the money, as we thought they would. Secondly, if it concerns something very important to you personally, to the point that making an immediate payment would be in your interest, and not doing so and delaying until someone from your side arrives would harm you, the occurrence of such a thing, besides being annoying, is disgraceful for you. Well, I put it to the test by sending Erastus to meet with Andromedes of Aegina, whom, being your host, you recommended I turn to if I needed any amount. I wanted, in fact, to send you the other, more significant commissions you made in your letter. He gave a logical and kind answer, that the money he had previously disbursed for your father, he had barely been able to recover, and that he would now be willing to give a small amount, but nothing more. So I had to get the money from Leptines, and Leptines should be praised, not only for having given it, but because he gave it very willingly, and because in every other respect, in his manner of speaking and acting concerning you, he proved to be your true friend to the best of his ability. Indeed, it is necessary for me to inform you of these things and their opposites, of how each person appears in my eyes in relation to you. But apart from this, regarding the issue of money, I will be completely frank with you. It is fair, and at the same time, I can speak based on my knowledge of the people around you. Those who usually give you accounts, whatever expense they think they should report to you, do not want to present it to you for fear of incurring your anger. Accustom them and oblige them to give you detailed accounts of this and everything else. It is necessary that you be informed of everything possible, that you judge it, and that you do not shy away from knowing the truth. This will be best for your governance, for expenses reasonably incurred and duly paid, you yourself recognize and will have to recognize as a good thing, both in other respects and even for the correct administration of your wealth. Do not allow people who say they care about you to discredit you to the public, for it is neither good nor proper for your reputation to appear as an unapproachable man. Next, I would like to talk to you about Dion. As for everything else, I cannot say anything yet until the letters you announced arrive. But as for the issues you forbade me to mention to him, I did not mention them or speak to him about them, but I was gauging whether, should the time come, he would take things well or badly, and I got the impression that if it happened, he would be quite angry. Regarding everything else concerning you, Dion's disposition toward you seemed measured in both his words and actions. We will give Cratinus, my friend, the brother of Timotheus, a hoplite armor piece of the beautiful kind the infantry carries, and to the daughters of Cebes, 3 7-cubit tunics, not the luxurious ones from Amorgos, but the Sicilian linen ones. You know the name Cebes well. He appears in the Socratic dialogues, being an interlocutor of Socrates, along with Simmias, in the dialogue about the soul. He is a friend to all of us and holds us in high regard. As for the password to recognize the letters I write to you on my own initiative and those I do not, I suppose you remember it, but I still recommend that you keep it in mind and pay close attention, as many people ask me to write to you, and they cannot be openly refused. The letters whose content is genuine have the word God at the beginning, and those where it is less so, have the word gods. The ambassadors also asked me to write to you, and it is logical, as they constantly praise both you and me everywhere with great enthusiasm, especially Philargus, the one whose hand was ill on that occasion. Philides, who has arrived from the court of the great king, has also been talking to me about you. If it wouldn't make my letter too long, I would tell you what he said, but you can ask Leptines. If you send me the armor or anything else I commission you for, if you are not interested in entrusting it to someone in particular, give it to Therylus. He is one of those constantly making the crossing, a friend of mine, and a capable person in all respects, especially in philosophy. He is related by marriage to Tyson, who was the city leader when I embarked. Farewell. May you cultivate philosophy and encourage the other young men to do so. Greet your ball game companions for me, and recommend to everyone, especially Aristocratus, that if any message or letter of mine arrives for you, they ensure you are notified as soon as possible and remind you to take care of what I tell you in them. For now, do not neglect to return the money to Leptines, pay him as soon as possible, so that others, seeing his case, will be better disposed to serve us. Iatrocles, whom I freed along with Myronides on that occasion, is now embarked in the company of my envoys. Hire him for any service, secure in the knowledge that he is loyal to you, and use him as you wish. Keep this letter or a summary of it, and let no one but you know its contents.